Hello Foggies, and welcome back to this week's episode 13 of the Foggy Author. If we haven't met before, my name is Brett Jackson, and this is Hoggy, and together we write books through the haze of brain fog. My Writing Life. In this week's My Writing Life, I finally completed the edits of Time Clones Book 2. I had some family time and a chance to rest my brain. I fixed my computer overheating problem with a game-changing solution. I found a problem with my laptop and I fixed that too. We've celebrated birthdays, enjoyed time just resting, done a bit of camping and even played some board games. This much-needed break gave my brain some time to rest so I could enjoy the sunshine, while Hoggy probably enjoyed some time off too. When it rained, I had time to test out some writing programs, and I've decided to cover some of these in this week's featured article. I've finally finished the edits for Time Clones Book 2, and the beta version is now out with my readers. It'll probably take about a month for the feedback, and then I'll make changes if I need to. But in the meantime, I shall be sharing the new book cover, the Time Clones Book 2 official title, and I have another book to write, so I'm now brainstorming Time Clones Book 3, and you can see the progress on the website www.thefoggyauthor.com. In the writing world, my author friend Daniel Wilcox has been quite quiet lately, and now we've found out why. He posted on Discord that he's starting a new podcast called The Writer's Chair, so if you're into horror, you want to ask him some questions, feel free to check it out. In other news, as regular viewers will know, I've been experiencing problems with my Wednesday writing lives. Running 3 cameras, a wireless mic, OBS and my writing software worked well until the summer heat kicked in. My Mac wasn't prepared for all that kit, along with rising temperatures, and as cameras conked out, my mic became choppy and the Wi-Fi was just a mess. It became obvious that the main culprit was actually the good old British weather. While I've been resting, it's given me a chance to rethink my live streaming setup and my writing setup in general. I needed a solution that I could use to run all the cameras and microphone, needed a decent connection to the internet, and allowed me to use my desktop mic, this one here, whilst staying cool during the summer. I also wanted room to expand so I could add more kit if needed in the future. So I pulled out a pen and paper and started brainstorming. After several days I had a plan. First, I resurrected my old PC, which I was using as a storage system, and I grabbed a keyboard, mouse and fished out an old set of speakers I had laying around. Next, I pulled out the hard drives and replaced it with the storage drive I had for the Mac. After some tweaking later, I had the start of a working PC with Windows installed. The first thing that happened when I switched on was the dreaded Windows updates, which took hours, and when it finally updated, I was left with a computer capable of staying cool, running all my cameras and mic, and new, faster storage. This new rig was great except for one thing. Windows now comes with built-in AI, Copilot. After attempting to uninstall or disable Copilot, I decided this was taking too much time. After all, if I did another update, would Windows reinstall Copilot? Do I really need some useless software chewing up my memory or spying on me? I don't have anything to hide, but I don't really want my private affairs at the mercy of hackers. So I decided to change the operating system. I wanted something without AI baked in. So that means no Microsoft Windows or Copilot, or Mac OS and Apple Intelligence. I've managed to go for 40 years without AI. Why on earth do I need it now? For me, this was a no-brainer. Linux has been my trusty, reliable friend for a long time, but I'd always left it behind on the shelf, grabbing my Linux laptop every now and then. Instead, it was time to make it my daily driver. I've used it for years on and off. I know how it works, and I know that it's solid and runs pretty much 90% of the internet. And best of all, there's no AI constantly watching me or using system resources that I can use for other things. My next challenge was making sure I could run my cameras, my microphone, and the software for live streaming and recording this newsletter, as well as writing books and storing all of that data too. So I started off by adding more USB sockets and a board to put some fast storage into my PC. I put together a network attached storage system, a sort of Dropbox / Google Drive / Apple storage system, which I lovingly call my box because it's mine and it's a box. And now I can sync my documents from my laptop to my PC without having to pay any money. And the best bit is it's upgradable. If I want extra space, I just stick in another hard drive. It also means that if my PC or laptop do die, I don't lose any documents. Next up was software, so I got rid of Windows and installed Linux on my PC. Did all the updates and installed the sync software on my PC and linked it to the MyBox computer. Then I tested it. It saves documents on my PC very well and then syncs them with my box. Excellent. Now I needed to add another hard drive to the PC. Well, I used that one to configure it for daily backups. I downloaded a free editor called OpenShot, and that's what I've used to edit this video. So if things look different from the last video to this one, that's the reason why. It's not likely to have the same effects, but it's free, so I'm not going to complain. I then wiped my Mac, and I found that the problem was not a hardware issue after all, but a piece of badly coded software which chewed up the processor and memory, causing it to overheat. And this means I can now happily sell the Mac knowing that it's fully functional. But do I regret changing all of this over from Mac to Linux when I could have just wiped my Mac and started again? Absolutely not. I have more freedom, more sockets, more upgradability, the new setup is way faster, and I absolutely love it. And I finished off by installing OBS, which is my streaming software, and, coincidentally, the software I use to record this video. I configured it, then I installed my writing software, which I'll tell you about in this week's featured article. Ask the author. There are no questions this week, but if you'd like to ask the author something, please leave your questions in the comments. Book of the Week. This week's Book of the Week is Time Risk, a time travel novel, Book 1 by Elise Douglas. It's Hawaii, December 1941, and they're saving the past and risking the future. 83-year-old billionaire Andrew Whitlock recruits Rachel Hunt, a 33-year-old former homicide detective with a tarnished reputation, for a daring mission to travel back in time to Honolulu just days before December 7th, 1941. Rachel's task is to locate and save Andrew's father, a man he never met, from perishing in his fighter plane during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. As the mission begins to spiral out of control, Rachel finds herself hunted by naval intelligence and the Honolulu police. Amidst the chaos, Rachel discovers that she might have a fleeting chance to change the entire outcome of the surprising attack on Pearl Harbor, if she can survive. This book is available on Amazon, and the link to this book is in the comments as usual. Featured article. While I had some time off, I decided to try out some different writing programs. Scrivener is asking for money yet again. with every major update. So I decided to have a look for other alternatives. Whilst I absolutely love Scrivener as a writing software, it does have its drawbacks. For newbies, it has a very steep learning curve and a whole bunch of tools that personally I've hardly ever used, and I've been writing for several years now. Scrivener updates are great, but when there is a major one, you have to pay, and to be honest, I'm ready for a change. Copying Scrivener files from one machine to another is often quite slow and laborious, as they're packed files with lots and lots of information. This can often slow things down when copying. For these reasons, I've decided to shop around for a replacement software. During my time off, I tried all sorts of different softwares and created some notes, and now I want to share a few with you. Among them, I tried Atticus, Dabble, Google Docs, LibreOffice, LivingWriter, Manuskript, Notion, NovelWriter, Noveler, Readsy, Scrivener, Wavemaker Cards, and more. I've decided to compare various things whilst writing this list. Such things like price, operating system compatibility, and exporting and importing documents. So I'm going to start with Atticus, which is a web package great for writing and formatting your books. The pros: Atticus is cheaper than Vellum, the well-renowned formatting software for Mac operating systems. Unlike Vellum, Atticus is available for all operating systems, and this software contains loads of formatting options with different fonts and things. The cons are you do have to pay for it, and at the time of recording this video it costs $147. However, that fee is a one-off and you get some pretty cool formatting options. Plus, it's cheaper than Vellum at $299 if I remember right. The good thing about this is, because it's available through your web browser, it'll work on all sorts of things. My Chromebook handles it well, my Linux machine, any Windows machines, any browser. It's great, although to be honest my experience has been that Chrome browsers tend to work best. However, it doesn't really support my iPhone on portrait mode. While it works pretty much 100% almost, there are some small issues that work better on my iPhone in landscape mode. You can import documents and they'll set the headings as chapter titles. Exporting is pretty simple. You get a chance to be able to download them as EPUB or as docx. My personal thoughts: when I first bought this software a couple of years ago, I tried to use it, but in my opinion it's not really set up very well for plotters. So I still don't really use it. Instead, I go back every now and then to see if it's got any better since its beta phase. Thankfully, it now includes more options. However, the caveat with this is it's now a lot slower, with page loading times often taking around 5 seconds or so. Atticus themselves tell you that you should use the import function instead of copy pasting, and to me that kinda sucks. To be honest, I wish there was a trial version, because if I'd tried it at the time, I probably would not have paid for it. Dabble is also a package great for writing, but doesn't offer formatting options. It's faster than Atticus and cheaper, offering a monthly subscription package instead. It works well in all the browsers I tried, and it doesn't include AI. In fact, I recently received an email from Dabble that stated they will never include AI because their customers simply don't want it. However, there is no import option, so if you want to put your manuscript in it, you'll have to copy and paste. And while it does export, it only exports your documents as Google Docs, text files or PDF, with no option for EPUB. And unfortunately, there's no option to work offline. Compatibility, it's great on all web browsers that I tested it in. And my personal thoughts are, while Dabble has a lovely interface, the import and export limitations find it really difficult to use as an everyday writing software. Google Docs, also a fantastic web package. Great for writing, and with a bit of tricksing, you can even format your books. There are plenty of videos on the internet. The pros, it's free, and who doesn't like that price? The cons, actually haven't found any yet. Although I am aware that Google likes to drop software projects quite often, so hopefully they won't drop their Office suite. Compatibility? Yeah, it's available through your web browser and through their Chromebooks. They do prefer you to use Chrome. After all, it's made for stuff like this. You can export to ODT, which is the Open Office format, or the DocX and save as Google's format on Google Drive. My personal thoughts, it's good, it works, and it's often updated. You can work offline and save your docs to a USB stick. Great for when there is no internet. LibreOffice is a downloadable software for Windows, Mac and Linux, similar to Microsoft Word. It allows you to save your writing, spreadsheet, presentation and database files. The pros, it's completely free, allows you to do stuff without an internet connection and has tons of customization. The cons, there is a rather large learning curve as a plotter, especially if you've been using programs such as Scrivener, because they work in completely different ways. Compatible with Windows, Mac OS and Linux, it's a great program for working offline. My personal thoughts, what's not to like? It's free, works on all operating systems and is constantly updated with community updates. LivingWriter, it's a web package great for writing and formatting your books. The pros, you can import your documents. The cons, it does have AI and it costs money. After a 14-day trial period, there's a $14.99 per month charge for standard software, or $29.99 for standard software including AI. However, you can pay $699 for the lifetime access. My personal thoughts. LivingWriter is a more polished version of Atticus. However, where Atticus has gone more into formatting, LivingWriter is very good at the writing side of things. Its import and exports are fantastic, enabling you to not only save your document, but also the notes that come with it. The goals are very accurate, and I just love the aesthetic compared to Atticus. Plus, it's a lot quicker. Being browser-based means that I can install editing software such as Grammarly or ProWriting Aid, and it will make suggestions as I write. Manuskript. It's open source, which means you can make tweaks if you're that way inclined, and it's free. However, although I can see it working in Linux and Windows, I'm not sure if there's a Mac OS version, and there certainly isn't an online version. Thankfully, it exports to EPUB. However, there are not a lot of tutorials on Manuskript. The developer actually warns that you can lose your work, so for me, this instability puts me off a little bit. Wavemaker Cards. A very strange name for a writing software. The pros, it's free, it's lightning fast, and it works in a very unique way. The cons, it only supports .doc at the moment, and it doesn't allow imports yet, but the developer is working on another version, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. My personal thoughts. This software completely blew me away. It has a very unique user interface that has you saving your data to your PC all the time. Wavemaker Cards reminds you that you do not need an account because the data inputted into your web browser is yours, and it saves its flat file database from everything you input right into your computer. With various tools such as a handy snowflake method, I really like this software and I can't wait to see the next version. To finish off, I've decided to now start using LibreOffice to write my manuscripts. Now I suddenly feel very grown up. Instead of using proprietary software that may stop being supported at any time in the future, I remain confident that the LibreOffice software will allow me to carry on writing books for a very long time in the future. And if they do stop supporting it, that's fine because I've still got the install files. As a plotter and a foggy author, I need a way to be able to plan my book so that I don't forget what I need to write next. So I tried brainstorming in the same document, using comments or different coloured writing, but I wanted to record my word count accurately, and this didn't really work for me. And that's where the spreadsheet software that comes with LibreOffice comes in very handy. I can plot my book within a spreadsheet using something called a plot grid, and then use it as a world-building Bible reference to ensure that I never forgot what I need to write in future. Using LibreOffice makes things a lot easier to back up. Instead of a Scrivener file with about 97 files in it that takes forever to download or upload, I have one file for my manuscript and one file for my world-building spreadsheet. So 2 small files is fantastic. I can stick them on a USB stick, put them on my phone, download them to my box or whatever. And that's the reason why I've decided through all these different pieces of software to start using LibreOffice. And that's all for this week. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I shall see you all again in the future.